Let's see. We do have questions. And by the way, if you do want to text in to Mark Stiles Law, we may use one of your questions on the radio in a future segment. You can text it in to us at 781-837-4900. That's our text line, 781-837-4900. This week's question comes to us from Samantha in Kingston. Hi, Samantha. Thanks for listening. She says, good morning, Mark. Love the segment. I'm getting ready to put an offer down on a new home. Do I need to waive my home inspection? Some advice, please. Samantha.
Samantha, great question and very timely, too. So we are entering a healthy market. Right. Some people are starting to get uptight about interest rates. And there was another report. The Fed raised interest rates, short-term interest rates again this week. And people are starting to panic that the real estate market is crumbling and there's cracks in the foundation. But in reality, we're getting back to a more healthy marketplace. What we were experiencing over the last few years was not healthy. Having a seller-sided, slanted market is not healthy, and it was a pure imbalance. So the sellers held all of the leverage and the buyers had zero leverage. So buyers out there, it is your time now. The interest rates are up slightly, but historically they are still ridiculously low. So fear not, get comfortable with what you can afford and go out and hunt. But hunt with confidence, because you do not have to waive your home inspection. You do not have to waive your appraisal anymore. We are getting more balance, right? So microeconomics, macroeconomics, supply and demand, we are now finding more balance, right? So we're finding that the buyers are in an equal, getting closer to an equal bargaining position. So they don't have to give blood and give firstborn children and waive everything in order to win the accepted offer from a seller when there's 40 people bidding for the same property. That's tempering now. So I have always encouraged people not to waive their home inspection. In fact, I've jumped up on my soapbox a couple of times and said that it should be mandated. And I'm not one that loves to mandate anything, but it is so very important to have a licensed home inspector to walk through that home with you, to look through, turn over every rock, and understand what you're buying. One of the benefits of walking around with the home inspector is to understand how to actually run your home, because there's a lot of complicated things that go on in a home if you've never been a homeowner. And those are, the home inspector gives you that 101 instruction, which is great. But the reality of it is there's things that there's no way you would have known about. You're not in that business. You don't understand the nuance of homes and the structures and the systems and all of that. These folks do. They're licensed, and they're going to point it out. And they may point out and say, you know what, this is going to be fine for the next 5 years, but you want to keep an eye on it, right? So those are good things to have. I was advising sellers in the heyday of this wild, artificial run-up in values and imbalance of supply and demand that they should encourage their buyers to do a home inspection. And the reason I was saying that is to protect them as well, right? It creates another level of insulation, right? So down the road, if these people went in blind and they went in with a no waived home inspection, they went in and purchased the property over asking and in the frenzy of it, and turns out that there was things wrong with the house, they're going to be upset, right? Maybe settling in now for some people, that they're upset that, you know, they weren't taken care of well, and maybe they think that the seller misled them or misrepresented. Well, there are attorneys out there that will take cases like that. And I was encouraging sellers to push buyers to have a home inspection. Why not? What's the worst case scenario, right? You want to make sure the buyer is comfortable, right? So that there aren't any lingering lawsuits post-closing. So, but now it's different. It's a different marketplace. We're going to see more offers coming in at or below asking price. Remember those days when people actually bought and were able to negotiate below the asking price? And we're going to see less folks buying the same property, right? Because there's going to be more homes on the market, and the buyers are going to have a little bit more strength. So the question, Samantha, that you're asking is, I always encourage people to make certain that they have a home inspection, an opportunity to at least inspect it, at least be able to terminate if there's something significantly wrong. What some of the professionals out there utilize a home inspection for informational purposes only, which basically means we have the ability to walk away if there's something really wrong with this property. And if you were to walk away from your deposit, sometimes folks look at it as the cost of doing business. It was a risk allocation, right? So we have a $500 or $1,000 deposit, but this is really bad. So we're going to walk away from our deposit, right? Now, I spoke with somebody the other day who said they walked through the home. They were ready to buy. They knew that they had work to be done on the property, but they thought it was $70,000. They brought in their contractor, and it was $170,000. So they said, you know what? It was the best $700 that they ever spent. That was the cost of the home inspection. So we always encourage people, eyes wide open, right? This is going to be your home. This is going to be your investment. This is going to be your asset. You're going to own this property. You want to make sure you understand exactly what you're buying and if you're getting the proper value for what you're buying.
Good advice. Good advice, as always. Mark Stiles from Stiles Law, and you can find out more online at stiles-law.com. And, Mark, if people have more questions and they want to get in touch with you or your team, how can they do that?
The best way is phone, Rob. It's 781-319-1900. We also have two websites, one stiles-law.com, and then for our estate planning clients, stiles-estates.com. And, of course, we have a YouTube channel where we have new videos going up pretty much every week. There's over 100 videos there, and they're based on questions such as this. A lot of the questions that we created videos around were from this show. So the viewers, listeners who are listening to this show, we credit you to some of our videos. But go on to the YouTube channel, go into the search query, and if you have a question, put it in there, and I bet we've done a video on it.
All right. Good stuff, as always, from Mark Stiles of Stiles Law on Route 139 in Marshfield. We do this every week. It's Feel Good Friday with Mark Stiles on WATD, and we'll see next week. Mark may be calling in.
Calling in from the woods, from the mountains.
All the best. Very excited to hear about that, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week, Mark.
Sounds good, Rob. Thanks, folks. Have a great week.